You measure that word now in Nigeria, say corruption, they go say you are campaigning for Obi. This is where it's coming from. Because when this guy Bond did that video on, say, Nigeria no dey pay taxes like other countries. That's why we are poor. I said, no, it's not because we are not paying taxes. It's because of corruption. That even though say we pay taxes, like any other country, as long as we not remove corruption, the way when money from oil they come, now so taxation money will still come. Money where they bring from oil from ground, and money where they bring from tax. After they don't enter our post finish, they'll say, this one na tax money, no touch am, no thief am. That one na oil money you can thief am. No. As long as there is corruption, I still insist. If we like, we pay 90% of tax. The way where oil money disappear, when we fit account for it, now so the tax money go disappear. Should you not pay tax? Pay your tax.
I wrote a friendly letter to all my staff, and I made them understand the need for us to have integrity. And between me and you, sir, you can't do this work when your hands are soiled. Yes. When you have integrity, you won't have the confidence to work. Because you can't look at the person that you have collected bribe from or money from in the eyes and say, I want to interrogate you. And you will do the work dispassionately. And so I said, look, it is important for us. This issue of lack of transparency, issue of corruption, we need to nip it in the bud. And we are going to work on it. And I will make sure that people we make them scapegoats. And so I warned them. That was like a warning. Warned them before I acted. And so we started.
It's actually very easy.
The fundamental problem that we should look at and start working on with advocacy is to create awareness among Nigerians to stop celebrating established corrupt officers.
All that information overload, we try to deliver the core insights and, those aha moments.
Goal.
Today, our mission is, well, it's a big one. We're diving deep into a really compelling report about how agentic AI could become Nigeria's uncompromising weapon against corruption. It's definitely a challenging topic. Corruption always is. But the potential for a tech solution here, it's actually incredibly exciting.
It really is. We're
Right?
talking about potentially a massive paradigm shift. For too long, the fight has relied on human heroism.
Right.
And as we'll get into, that often just falls short. This deep dive will explore how AI could fundamentally change the game.
Change the game. How exactly?
Well, not by replacing people, but by arming them. Arming them with irrefutable, completely impartial truth.
Okay, let's unpack that. We have to start, I think, by grounding ourselves in the, let's be honest, the harsh reality of the problem.
Yeah, the scale is huge.
Transparency International's Corruption Index, it ranks Nigeria at 140 out of 180 countries. That's stark.
It is.
When you see a number like that, it just screams that the traditional methods, the human-led efforts are frankly failing.
They are. And the report we're looking at makes it really clear. Corruption thrives, not necessarily because there's a lack of will everywhere,
Okay.
but because human enforcers, the people on the ground, face these almost insurmountable barriers.
So what are those barriers? Why do these efforts keep falling short?
Well, it's fascinating when you break it down. The report highlights 3 core human limitations that consistently, sabotage the fight.
3 main things.
Yeah. First, tribal or familial loyalties. This is a big one. Officers inside the ICPC, that's the Independent Corrupt Practices Commission.
Right.
They openly admit it. Cases involving what they term familial affiliations, well, they often get suppressed, just poof, gone, because of intense social pressure.
Wow. So it's deeply cultural.
Deeply. It's a profound challenge to objective enforcement, It's not just about rules on paper.
That sounds incredibly tough to combat, doesn't it? If it's so ingrained in societal ties. How can technology, even smart AI, really overcome that? Seems like a very human problem.
That is the critical question. And the AI's strength.
Because of this corruption, it took most of the files talking about corruption. And when you look through the files, more than 80% of them are just stealing. There are cases of theft. But people use corruption to cover. What I'm saying is that if, for example, let's go to the Southwest and go to a typical community in the Southwest and I look at you and say, this young man is corrupt, they will be looking at the young man. Say he's corrupt. They will look at him. But call that young man Ole and see what will happen to that young man. Call him Ole, that's thief. They will stone him to death. Our people hate thieves more than they hate corrupt. Now I've been saying that sometimes we use corruption to cover lapses of government functionaries. Somebody who cannot do his work well, they say it's because of corruption. A thief should be called a thief. Ole should be called Ole and be treated as a thief.
What is a way to ensure that corruption does not thrive? Is there something wrong with the Nigerian people? No, there's nothing wrong with the Nigerian people. The only thing that is wrong is the absence of consequence. If you are corrupt and there is no consequence, then not only will you continue to be corrupt, other people will join. So we have at the moment a situation where most people feel that there is no consequence for corruption. And because people feel that there is no consequence for corruption, corruption thrives and continues. As a matter of fact, corruption would appear to be the norm. It would appear to be the norm.
They openly admit it. Cases involving what they term familial affiliations, well, they often get suppressed, just poof, gone, because of intense social pressure.
Wow, so it's deeply cultural.
Deeply. It's a profound challenge to objective enforcement, you know? It's not just about rules on paper.
That sounds incredibly tough to combat, doesn't it, if it's so ingrained in societal ties? How can technology, even smart AI, really overcome that? Seems like a very human problem.
That is the critical question. And the AI's strength, the report argues, lies precisely in its detachment. It doesn't have those ties. But before we get fully into the AI, there's the second human limitation.
Okay.
Fear, intimidation, and violence. Human whistleblowers face significant risks, serious risks.
We've all heard stories.
Exactly. Think about the fear aspect. It's a massive barrier. The report cites cases, brave people paying a severe price just for speaking out.
Terribly difficult. And the third limitation.
Emotional biases and, crucially, political interference. Investigators at the EFCC, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, they often find themselves pressured. Powerful political figures step in, cause them to bend to influence, not objective evidence. It just highlights this lack of impartiality that plagues human efforts.
So if you're listening, think about this. These human factors, the family pressure, the real fear of harm, the political arm twisting, it makes any sustained anti-corruption fight incredibly difficult. It feels like fighting with one, maybe both hands tied behind your back.
Precisely.
And that really sets the stage, doesn't it, for why this report is presenting agentic AI as such a paradigm shift, a potential game changer.
This is where it gets interesting, because if humans are so susceptible to all these pressures, what if you introduce something that isn't? An unblinking eye, as the report puts it.
Right, enter agentic AI.
Exactly, agentic AI. Its core advantages over those human limits are pretty clear. And what makes it agentic, what makes it truly revolutionary, is its ability to autonomously act.
Autonomously? How so?
It can identify, flag, and even initiate responses to suspicious activity, all without constant human prompting. It's not just watching. It's like an intelligent, proactive detective that never sleeps, never gets tired, never gets scared.
Okay, so specific advantages.
Algorithmic impartiality, doesn't care who you know. Real-time transaction monitoring, seeing things as they happen. Fusing data across agencies, connecting dots humans might miss. And crucially, anonymous, unhackable digital channels for whistleblowing.
So it just bypasses those human weak points we discussed?
Completely. Loyalty, fear, bias, they don't apply to the code.
This is where it gets really interesting for me, the actual applications. How does this agentic AI work in practice?
Okay, imagine AI whistleblowers embedded right inside revenue systems.
Like in customs.
Exactly. For customs and tax monitoring, these AI agents can track import-export declarations in real time. They flag anomalies instantly. The report actually mentions a specific case.
Oh, yeah.
At a port, customs AI flagged something like 8 billion in fake invoices just last month. 8 billion.
Wow. And humans missed that.
For years, apparently. Human oversight just couldn't catch it at that scale or speed. Then there's procurement audits.
Government contracts.
Yeah. AI scanning contract awards, comparing pricing to market rates, flagging anything that looks off automatically.
Okay, so it's like having a super auditor built in.
Pretty much. And if you connect this to law enforcement, you get what the report calls sentiment-proof law enforcement.
For sentiment-proof.
Meaning it's not swayed by emotion or pressure. It talks about an EFCC, ICPC AI triad.
The triad.
Yeah, integrating surveillance AI, forensic AI, and predictive AI agents. They can even work with the DSS, the security services, to map out complex corruption networks.
Predictive AI, like predicting crime.
It's sort of more like identifying patterns that suggest corruption is happening or likely to happen. The report mentions predictive AI mapping a ghost worker ring in Kano State before the EFCC even got a human tip-off.
That's proactive.
Very. And then there's judicial and public accountability. AI can power transparency portals, automatically publishing redacted investigation reports so the public can see.
Making things open.
And anonymous AI chatbots for citizen reporting, collecting tips, verifying them, offering a safe, genuinely unbiased way for the public to participate.
It's powerful when you think about how these capabilities directly counter those human limitations we started with.
Exactly. No tribal loyalty sways an algorithm.
No intimidation threatens a digital entity.
And no political interference can just bend the code. It offers a systematic, unbiased approach.
It almost makes getting caught statistically more likely. Inevitable, maybe.
That's the idea. It raises the cost, raises the risk exponentially. Now, to really grasp the, let's say, the ruthless potential here.
Ruthless.
Well, maybe uncompromising is better. We can look at a real world, though controversial, example. Elon Musk's DOGE initiative.
DOGE.
Like the coin. No, different DOGE. This stood for the Department of Government Efficiency. It was part of the Trump administration.
Okay, never heard of it. What did it do?
Well, it reportedly used AI quite aggressively. There's debate around the exact savings figure, but it was claimed DOGE saved maybe $175 billion by flagging suspicious patterns.
Billion, with a B.
That was the claim.
Yeah.
And it was linked to the firings of over 3,000 individuals deemed corrupt or inefficient.
Whoa. How did it work?
Reports suggest it involved pretty omnipresent surveillance. AI tools monitoring federal workers' communications, emails, Teams, Zoom calls.
For what?
Specifically looking for things like anti-Trump sentiment or policy dissent, according to reports. That's the controversial part.
Yeah, that sounds problematic.
Definitely. But it also did real-time anomaly detection, scanning financial transactions, procurement records, personnel data for irregularities, and the key thing, free from human bias in the scanning part.
So it generated leads.
Factual intelligence, yeah. Flagging patterns that would trigger audits or, in some cases, firings. Musk himself apparently said something like, no bribes, no mercy.
Intense. But you mentioned controversy.
Big time. The surveillance aspect, the political targeting, huge red flags. But the core takeaway for this discussion, the report argues, isn't about the politics.
It's about the AI's capability.
Exactly. DOGE demonstrated, maybe brutally, that AI cannot be coerced, bribed, or threatened in the same way a human can.
The brand new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it. Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is.
Time anomaly detection, scanning financial transactions, procurement records, personnel data for irregularities, and the key thing, free from human bias in the scanning part.
So it generated leads.
Factual intelligence, yeah. Flagging patterns that would trigger audits or, in some cases, firings. Musk himself apparently said something like, no bribes, no mercy.
Intense. But you mentioned controversy.
Big time. The surveillance aspect, the political targeting, huge red flags. But the core takeaway for this discussion, the report argues, isn't about the politics.
It's about the AI's capability.
Exactly. DOGE demonstrated, maybe brutally, that AI cannot be coerced, bribed, or threatened in the same way a human can. The report uses a great line. Its sensors have no cousins to protect. Its algorithms fear no bullets. That's the strength Nigeria could leverage.
Okay, but how do you leverage that strength without repeating DOGE's flaws? The covert surveillance, the political targeting, that can't happen.
Absolutely not. And the report is very clear on this. For Nigeria to adapt agentic AI ethically, effectively, there have to be strict safeguards, non-negotiable.
This sounds like a critical balancing act.
It is. How do you harness this immense power while fiercely protecting civil liberties? The report lays out 3 essential guardrails.
Okay, what are they?
First, transparency mandates. All AI monitoring must be fully disclosed, at least to oversight committees. No secret spying like DOGE.
Makes sense. Sunlight is the best disinfectant.
Second, strict data boundaries.
Okay.
The AI analysis has to be restricted only to financial and administrative data, not political speech, not private communications unrelated to potential graft.
Keep it focused on the money trail and process abuse.
Precisely. And third, a human-AI hybrid model. This is crucial. Final decisions, especially prosecution, must always rest with human authorities like the EFCC and ICPC, not solely with the algorithms.
So the AI flags, investigates, provide evidence, but a human makes the final call.
Yes. Ensures human oversight, accountability, and allows for context that an AI might miss. It's about augmenting humans, not replacing their judgment entirely.
How do you ensure that balance in practice, though, beyond just saying transparency mandates? What concrete mechanisms stop it from becoming, misused, especially given that DOGE example?
That's the implementation challenge. It requires robust legal frameworks, independent oversight bodies, regular audits of the AI systems themselves, and clear protocols for when and how AI-generated flags are escalated to human investigators. It needs constant vigilance.
Okay, so assuming those safeguards are possible, how ready is Nigeria for this kind of AI leap? Is this just theoretical, or is there groundwork already laid?
That's a fair question, and the report argues Nigeria isn't starting from absolute zero. There are existing precedents. Well, the ICPC already signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, with NASANI, that's the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure.
Right.
And that agreement specifically commits to leveraging innovative technology and AI against graft. So the intent is there at a high level.
And what about local capability?
It exists. Legos tech hubs, places like Logitronix, they're already deploying sophisticated AI, including agentic AI concepts for things like ERP systems,
ERP,
enterprise resource planning, software that manages core business processes. They've shown AI can be effective in things like inventory and financial control in the private sector.
So the talent is there, potentially?
Some of it, yes. And practically speaking, the report suggests hybrid cloud and edge AI models can help overcome infrastructure issues like power gaps or spotty bandwidth. It doesn't all have to run in a massive central data center.
Okay, that's interesting. The report also talks about impact across different government bodies, right? Not just EFCC, ICPC.
Oh, absolutely. The potential breadth is huge. It goes far beyond just the main anti-corruption agencies. Think about the oil sector, NNPC.
Huge potential for corruption there.
Massive. Agentic AI could combat fuel subsidy fraud, crude oil theft, using real-time pipeline monitoring AI, maybe combined with blockchain ledgers for an unalterable record.
Okay, what else?
The central bank, CBN, using AI to track currency flows could help address Naira manipulation or bias in allocating foreign exchange.
Forex allocation is always controversial.
Always. Then INS, the Electoral Commission, tackling voter register manipulation, result tampering, using biometric anomaly detection, maybe blockchain again. They apparently tested some of this in 2023.
Right, I remember hearing about that.
State governments too. Eliminating ghost worker payrolls, a classic problem, using biometric ID linked to geolocation for workforce verification. Maybe smart contracts for paying salaries directly at the local government area level.
Ghost workers are a huge dream.
Huge. Even the Ministry of Health fighting fake drug procurement or equipment overpricing, using supply chain AI that can track goods and scrape market prices for comparison.
Wow, okay. Police Service Commission.
Countering bribery in promotions or tampering with case files. Imagine AI that helps score promotion merit objectively, or analyzers that track every change to a digital case file.
It really touches almost every area of government. It's about systemic change.
That's the vision. A systemic, nationwide shift enabled by technology.
So if the potential is there and some groundwork exists, what's the actual progress? And what are the big hurdles still?
Well, on the progress side, you have that ICPC-NASANI partnership we mentioned. Nigeria also launched a national AI strategy in 2024, which includes pillars for responsible AI governance.
So policy thinking is happening.
It is. And there are things like youth AI mobilization workshops run by ICPC, training young people in AI for fraud detection, which is interesting, building future capacity.
But the barriers must be significant.
They're very real. Electricity is a major one, only about 45% grid coverage nationally. That impacts everything.
Can't run AI without power.
Exactly. Talent drain is another. The report cites a figure that 42% of AI experts emigrate. Keeping skilled people is tough.
Brain drain, yeah.
Then there's the challenge of bias in the training data itself. If the data reflects existing societal biases, like tribal bias, the AI could perpetuate or even amplify them. That needs careful management.
So the AI is only as good or as unbiased as the data it learns from.
Precisely. And of course, valid data privacy concerns under Nigeria's NDPR Act. How do you do this monitoring while respecting privacy rights? It loops back to those safeguards.
Okay, so given all the potential, the precedents, the barriers, what are the concrete next steps the report proposes? How do you actually start implementing this?
It lays out a pretty clear blueprint. First, deploy AI auditors specifically in the National Revenue System's customs, tax, and within the NMPC. Integrate them with ICPC's existing tech.
Start where the money flows.
Makes sense. Second, equip the EFCC with dedicated AI forensic tools for things like real-time asset tracking. Give them the cutting edge.
Okay.
Third, systematically embed agentic AI agents across all ministries, departments, and agencies' MDAs. And crucially, create public-facing dashboards that track recovered funds in near real time.
Transparency again. Let people see the results.
Exactly. Fourth, the report suggests a presidential executive order might be needed, something strong to mandate AI agent access across all these MDAs, showing top-level commitment.
Cutting through bureaucracy.
Potentially. And finally, create a dedicated joint EFCC-ICPC AI task force and get them to partner with tech giants, maybe Microsoft, maybe NVIDIA, to build a sovereign AI cloud.
Sovereign cloud, meaning based in Nigeria, under Nigerian control.
Yes, ensuring Nigeria owns its data, controls its AI destiny in this fight.
These sound like big, ambitious steps. They're not just technical fixes, are they?
Not at all. Beyond the tech, these are major policy decisions. They require significant political will, leadership commitment, investment, and sustained effort to manage the implementation and the ethical considerations. It's a fundamental transformation being proposed.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, let's just quickly reiterate that core message. Nigeria's long war on corruption, it might need this paradigm shift, moving from relying solely on human heroism,
Which, as we saw, faces huge challenges.
towards AI-enabled inevitability, making corruption harder, riskier, more likely to be caught.
And remember, the idea isn't AI replacing humans. It's AI arming humans with objective, irrefutable truth. It transforms the fight by making accountability, well, algorithmic.
When looters know there's an unhackable, unharmable, unsleeping sentinel watching,
Yeah.
the calculation changes. The cost of graft just rises exponentially.
Yet it never lies.
Leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? What does this new era of, let's call it, algorithmic accountability, what does it truly mean for the future of governance, for society? Not just in Nigeria, but maybe globally. Something to think about.